these people, these foreigners, are not here by mistake. These people are foreigners living in Poland, but they're really belonging to this country. And then I realized that Katowice is a very international people. I realized there are people from Egypt, Tunisia, Italy, France, Spain, basically everywhere. Everything started with football. I think sport is a big connector, especially for foreigners or for people that, don't have already a community.
Guys, we did it. After several months of planning and changing my schedule, I have that guest with me. Ciao, Marco.
Hi, Edita. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really happy too. Let me do the quick introduction. Marco comes from Sicily, Italy, but lives in Katowice for how long already?
14 years and a half.
14 and a half, so almost 15 years.
Almost 15. September will be 15.
Okay, so will you celebrate?
No.
Why?
Because I don't think about this. But now that you are telling me, I may think about it.
You should, because 15 years is quite a big anniversary, I would say. Why Poland, Marco?
So my story, right? My story comes with my willingness to travel and to discover the world. So I come from Sicily, as you said, but I was studying in Milan. And then after 5 years in Milan, so already going out of nest, living alone, I came back to Sicily. And this was a little bit of trauma. Because, Milan is a big city. Sicily is a little town, 35,000 people.
Which town of Sicily exactly?
Lentini,
Okay.
Close to Syracuse and Catania.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful place, not the city, but I can see Etna, I can see the seaside. It's perfect.
For vacation maybe, but not for someone that is really ambitious and want to discover the world. Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, I was missing this, let's say, big environment, and then other situation happened. I mean, I got already in Milan. I was a lot into Erasmus, so international people. I got also a Spanish girlfriend, and then I was supposed to go to Spain. Then we broke up, so I found myself in Sicily with no plan.
Okay.
So then I decided, okay, where should I go? And I started to apply for jobs. And this is a pattern of my life. This, looking for jobs, finding jobs, to helping people to find a job. And this work in Poland was an option. So I applied to this and to some other jobs. And I got a call back and I talked with them. And at the time I didn't know about Katowice. I knew about Krakow.
Like
Everybody
everyone knows about Krakow, right?
But Katowice was just the airport close to Krakow. But I did this interview. I really liked the opportunity in Capgemini, where I work as a technical support engineer. And then I decided to go. And I remember the first time I told to my mother, I'm going to Poland in Katowice. She was like, oh my God, why so far? And we just spoke 15 minutes ago that it's 2 hours flight.
Yeah, and it's like direct flight, right?
Exactly. So everything started in August of 2011.
Okay.
And it was not supposed to take so long, but I'm here for staying.
And still in the same company for 15 years, right?
Yes, still in the same company.
But changing responsibilities, I guess.
Changing responsibilities. So this is also another thing that, I like to say to the new joiners in Capgemini, where I work, that it's a great place where to work because you get opportunity. And even if I was stable with one client in the last 13 years, I was able to change, expanding my scope and going also a little bit up. So now I'm the manager there. But you know that I don't speak so much Polish. I know you'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah.
And still I am where I am. So as I'm telling to new joiners, especially foreigners, that in Poland, in Capgemini, there is opportunity. There is a chance. And I am some kind of the living evidence. And I'm not bored, you know that. It's not only Capgemini, it's a lot of other things. Yeah. But I cannot complain. And also, I'm not a complainer. I'm very happy of what is the treatment there. Of course, with every place, pro and cons, but it's still the same place.
Okay, so before we go to your private life, because this is also like a big part of your life here and your Polish story, tell me how it's like to work with Polish people and in Polish business environments. Because you know the company is international, but you have for sure some Polish mentality in the place you work, and most of your co-workers maybe are Polish.
Yeah.
So how it's like to work in Poland?
Just to give you some numbers, in Capgemini we have 90% of Polish, but 10% of foreigners. So it means more than 1,000 people in 10K something globally in Poland. It's foreigners. So for me, it's a very good number. It's a big number, right?
Yeah, because
1,000.
you can work in the international environment, which is important for you.
Exactly. When I came, the fact that we were speaking different languages, and majority was Polish people, I could feel this different mindset that they were all young, all coming from an Erasmus experience, speaking one or two more languages. So for me, it was great. It was paradise because I felt really in my environment. Then slowly, I learned about these Polish features that there is maybe the stereotype that it's more about sometimes complaining or everything is grey, but it's a stereotype.
Okay, so that's really interesting to know your perspective, because after 15 years already, you know which stereotypes are true and which are not.
Yeah.
There are just like features, as you said, that we believe maybe they are true, but they are not.
I think you guys, Polish people, created this.
Yes.
Because Polish people are telling me, we are complainers. I don't feel it so much.
Okay.
Right? I don't feel it so much. I think that maybe it's the comparison with someone like me, which I'm very, happy, energetic, and, I try to not complain, to always see the half full glass. So I don't really notice that, but I can tell you that, every Polish person is telling me, we are complainer, you are not.
Okay.
So they make me feel like, I am, not the complainer. But no, I will say that, I'm very happy to work with Polish people. I can tell you that, all my also mentors, all the people that I really thank for my development were Polish.
Okay.
Right? Not only, but Polish. So I think, they are really everybody I get in touch with, and I don't really have bad examples. So maybe I'm so lucky. Always, we're open-minded, looking at, this diversity part, and also how to, go together somewhere. So I learned a lot by these Polish people. Again, I can talk only about Capgemini, but I think it's very good experience. Then again, I have my connection, my network, so I hear sometimes about, some places where, it's too much, let's say, Polish people, and then, the foreigner can feel a little bit,
overwhelmed?
Left alone.
Okay.
Right? But these are maybe few cases. And I think, again, it's not about the individual is making the difference. Then, of course, all the individuals make the community and the environment. I don't have, anything I could say that, Polish people are not making you feel welcome or are not open to diversity.
And we have another stereotype of Poles, which I think is more true, that we are really hardworking. And if you compare Polish people to Italian ones, how would you compare this?
This is also tricky, because I agree, Polish people are hardworking, but I also, it's not of course for everyone, I also remember talks about Polish people, for example, or certain people done at 5 p.m., done at 3 p.m. That is great. This, keeping this work-life balance. But then at the same time, I hear about, let's say, people from South Sicily or South Spain or Italy in general or Spain, that we are a little bit more siesta.
How true is this stereotype?
It's not true.
Okay.
In the way that, we don't do siesta here. Then, of course, in Sicily, my father was sleeping 1 hour after lunch.
But then working longer.
Till 8 p.m.,
yeah.
right? So my father was the most hard-working person I can imagine. I can remember in my memories, right? For good and bad, right? At the end, because there was no work-life balance, but he was having siesta.
Yeah, but it's just the routine is different. So that's why if we look at someone having siesta at 2 p.m., we treat them as someone that doesn't have that, routine of working really hard. But it's just different.
Exactly, it's just different. Then I see that all the people I worked with here in Poland from Italy, they're super hard workers. So I was proud. I was, but then of course, it's hard to really compare. But this is the siesta versus the.
But this is a good point, and this is actually something I would like to ask you. Do you think that foreigners coming to new country need to try harder to prove their value?
I think that certain nationalities, they have to.
Okay.
Because I feel and I see the difference on treatment versus me that I'm Italian and my colleague, which is, I don't know, from another North African country.
Okay, and they have to work harder?
They have to work harder or they have to prove harder. I mean, they also have a different style, like everyone. But, I feel that we're Mediterranean country, so I feel this proximity with them. So I feel that, we got sometimes I feel, some kind of advantage, right? And sometimes I feel also some kind of, prejudice or stereotype. That there is some basis, of course, it's not out of nothing, but I can feel it. Overall, I think that, we need to work a little bit harder to give, a business case to our presence here, now more than ever, right? I think, there is nothing granted, nothing is obvious. So definitely, sometimes even this language barrier, it could be something against us. I mean, I know majority of people are learning the language at a certain point, but we should, I think, and we need to work harder. And I recommend to work harder.
And do you think that you lose something because you don't speak Polish? Or you don't speak enough Polish, for example, to communicate?
I think I do. In my specific case, I know why. It's not that, I forgot or I thought it's not important, but, I was trying to prioritize in my last, 13 years. The first year, it was not a point.
Yeah.
Right? But then when I keep staying, there was this. But I was really focusing my attention to something else, my time, because I think it's about time.
Yeah, it's about choosing priorities.
Exactly.
And we know that you have a lot of stuff going on. Also, the most important project, I would say, it's family. You are a father of 3. And tell me about this. Did you meet your wife in Katowice, in Poland? Is she from here, from Silesia?
Yes, she's from Silesia. And of course, I met her in Capgemini at work. So I keep saying that, I own a lot to this company because I own whoever I am as a manager, the knowledge I have, and I got also a wife. And, she's super different than me. So I'm corporate person, let's say. I'm very open, very, networking person. She's not really so much. I will say that, she's more into few connection, but good ones. And, but we have a lot of things in common as well.
I would also say that maybe it's your case, but this is also, for me, the difference between Polish and Italian mentality. We are more into maybe less relationships, but stronger ones. And you are more of creating big communities. Maybe this is also the case.
And this is actually the case. I agree. This is absolutely the case. I mean, a question she keeps asking me is why do you need to talk with this person? Why do you need to meet this person? Why you are exchanging contact with this person? For some people, it's hard to understand. For me, it's the most natural thing. I know you even on the tram stop.
Yes.
And for some reasons we talk, you don't need to be a girl. You can be a boy as well, right? Because it is also another stereotype that, we always, in the past, there was also something, it was there. And I exchange. And because my approach is, you never know. I can help this person, or maybe this person can help me. For my wife, it doesn't work this.
Yeah, because you are so social person, Marco, that it's just your life. You are always surrounded by people, lots of people, and this is why you are where you are. You are manager at a big international company, and you are also president of foundation. Tell our viewers more about this foundation, because this is something big.
Yes. So you talk about projects. So this family project is the first one, which is, let's say, 6-7 years old. But the foundation is even older. The foundation was founded in 2018, something, so before my first daughter. And I'm super happy and proud, that about this foundation. And everything started with football. Because, I think sport is a big connector, especially for foreigners or for people that, don't have already a community. So I was one of those. When I came here, I know no one. I know my colleagues from work, and they were my first friends. And then I know that I like to play football. And thanks to social media, we connected, and we were playing football every Saturday. And then I realized that Katowice is a very international people. I realized there are people from Egypt, Tunisia, Italy, France, Spain, basically everywhere. And we enjoyed spending time together, playing together. And then we decided maybe we should make a tournament, the World Cup. But then we thought, will the World Cup be sustainable and be, effective if it's organized by an individual or a few individuals? Or maybe we should have a more
something more formal.
A more formal body. Also, there I was getting a lot of help from Polish people, and we said, okay, foundation is the right thing to do. And I would not have done this alone, because there was also at that time a body, Murshid, a friend from Saudi Arabia, which works as a doctor now here in Katowice, and Grzegorz Kanjora, which was my colleagues and football mate at that time, and we created this together. So there's also a message that, it's hard to do things when you are alone, but it's 2 or maximum 3 people is enough to create it, and we created it.
So what's the name of foundation? Introduce your foundation to everyone that doesn't know already.
Yeah, so Katowice Internationals Foundation, and of course our best and biggest event is the World Cup, Katowice Internationals, that this year is the 8th edition, and every year is bigger and bigger, better and better, so we're super proud of this, and yes, now it's a few months to go for this event.
So what's the date for this year edition?
So this year it will be 27th and 28th of June. This is a 2 days event. It's a Saturday and Sunday. And we started with 16 national teams. Last year we were 28. So imagine, almost double. This year I think we will be 24. Because I want also to make a little bit easier for us organization. But what is great is that these people are foreigners living in Poland, but they're really belonging to this country. So Italy is represented by all Italians, a selection of Italians living in Poland. Morocco, Tunisia, all these countries, they're living here.
Yeah, like Colombians, Portuguese. I know that every year they are new players, but also they are the same ones that wait every year just to sign up.
Yes.
And this event is something that they wait for entire year. So I know this is so important for them. And this is your success, Marco, that you created an event that is really I would say even the biggest international event in Katowice annually, and something that all international wait for. So do you consider yourself a successful person, and do you consider this big success of yours?
Yes, definitely. I don't think about myself as successful. Rather yes or not.
Yes.
I don't think so much to myself in that way, but for sure I think this is a great event. It's unique. It's a great success, and I get excited and happy and proud when I compare really where we are today with where we were 8 years ago.
Okay, and can anyone join the event?
Yes, but we have rules.
Okay.
So, if you want to play, you need to have this nationality to play. So, for example, a Colombian can play with Colombia, but you need to talk with the captain, which is sometimes also the coach. So you need to then organize internally. But if you don't play, you can also be a volunteer. So we are always looking for volunteers. We are always open for that. Then we have an exception that the goalkeeper can be from any country.
Okay, because it's hard to find good goalkeepers.
It's hard to find, but you need to be a good goalkeeper to join, right?
Still, this is a challenge.
They will not take it otherwise. Everybody is waiting for this event, and a lot of people are there since day one, since year one, so 2018, and I can tell you, it's great to see new people there. It's great to get their feedback after every event, but it's also great. I wait for that event to meet with those friends that I don't meet because of the babies, because of the work, and every year we meet. So it's great. They're my friends at the end.
So it's not only sport event, this is also social event.
A lot.
Or mostly social event, because this is where the community is created and has the chance to meet up together, right? To exchange the knowledge, the feeling, and everything that they want to learn.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, I remember an example that it was even the Italian community. Those Italians, even living in Katowice, they didn't know each other. And thanks to the event, thanks to football,
Yeah.
they connected. And a friendship started. And this applies to basically every country, Morocco, Tunisia, and then even, imagine you don't know each other and you live in the same city, but for sure you don't know each other, you live in Poland. And thanks to the event, and to social media, of course, to the gathering, they connect. And I'm super happy. I don't know if you know about this, Edita, but last event, there was a volunteer, Naimeka from Nigeria, who came from Krakow.
Okay.
And it was also unemployed, looking for a job. And one of our sponsors, Maple Bear, was there for the first time. And one of our volunteers, Isabella from Brazil, she works for Maple Bear and she was a volunteer. And they met during the event with Isabella, with Maple Bear, and they got the job.
So it's also about new possibilities that you would never think about before,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So you came as a volunteer just because it's fun, just because you never know, and then you get a connection, and he's very happy with the job today.
Yeah.
And he's happy to share it.
That's
So
great.
for me, it was like perfect thing.
And also, even if you're not a player nor volunteer, you can still come as a supporter, right? The day of the event. So this is something that we encourage everyone in Katowice and around to join the event.
Yes, it's 2 full days. So, starting from Saturday midday, that I recommend to be there for the open ceremony. It's a nice parade that I always think about the Olympics as an inspiration for this parade. Then usually there is also some speakers, some guests coming from the city hall, maybe from the institution, from political or sport world environment. And then of course there are matches, a lot of matches. Then it's a lot of playing football. And then on Sunday, the day after, is also a lot of playing, but usually we try to bring also some food trucks or some, additional entertainment. There were some yoga classes last year. So I think it's a very good event for families, for supporters. I think it's a can't miss event for Katowice community.
I agree. I attended already 3 editions, I guess.
Or even more.
Or even more. So, of course, I will also be this year, and check more information in the description if you want to join. And we highly recommend. And now, going back to your family, which is your biggest project. You have 3 kids. How old are they already?
Gaia is 6.5. Paula just started 4. And the little boy, which came 2 weeks after the World Cup 2 years ago, he was making me this. It was trying to make it complicated to me. Kai is almost 2, so end of June. He already kicked the ball, so maybe will be a player one day. And and they are for sure my biggest project, my biggest happiness, and I'm always happy to spend time with them, especially in the weekend. Gaia is in love with the World Cup. She was there 2 years ago, spending all the weekend close to me, and I hope I will be able to bring them this year as well. At least the oldest one. They're bilingual, of course, because why I don't speak fluently Polish, because I really believe that I should talk Italian to them, because thanks to me talking Italian with them, they're fluent, they're bilingual. And I see, for example, other situations in other mixed families, it's not so much, because of course even the husband or the father talk with mother in Polish. So it's really, the Polish bubble is too big. While in my family, we have this really 60-40 Italian-Polish. Luckily, my wife speaks Italian as well.
That was my another question, but you speak Italian with your wife, right?
I speak Spanish.
Okay, so this is even more interesting.
Yeah, we speak Spanish because we met each other speaking Spanish.
So you still have your Erasmus life, right?
Yes, she also speaks French, imagine. And that's why we believe that even for the babies, to pick up Spanish one day
it will be easy.
It will be easy because it's similar to Italian, right?
I think that this will just click one day.
Yeah. Exactly. Whenever they will like.
Yeah.
And English, they study already. English is everywhere, so I'm not worried.
So I think this is one of big superpowers of international families that kids speak several languages without any effort or any problem, because it's just how they live their lives from the very beginning. Tell me, Marco, do you think Poland is a good place to raise a family?
Yes, definitely. And to be honest with you, I think today I can compare with Italy, of course, as the best place.
Okay.
I cannot even compare from services and from quality perspective where I live here in Katowice with where I live in Sicily, right? Because here I have a Platz Zaba every corner. I have this game of making the tour of Platz Zaba every weekend. We have a lot of help, a lot of I'm also very happy with medical services. Also thanks to the private medical service with the company, and I'm super happy. And when we are, or if I see my sister growing the child in Sicily, I mean there is one Platz Zaba and it's vandalized. I'm sorry to say that, right? But it's a fact. But then, of course, yeah, we have the seaside. You cannot have everything, right?
Yeah, there are some things that are better here. Some maybe that are better in Italy, but just, like overall experience in Poland is positive,
Very,
right?
very, very happy to be here. Very, sad that what I have here, they don't have there. I mean, not even for myself, but for my friends, my family there. You're going to ask maybe what I will steal from Sicily. The weather, definitely.
Yeah. Something else?
The food,
Okay.
maybe. The seafood. It's a bit that I like a lot. Fish. That of course, it's easier to eat there. It's like a kilometer zero, we say. Or for example, also the vegetables. I mean, this is something, of course, thanks to the climate, it's not comparable.
In Poland, we believe that we love Italian kitchen in general, Italian food, and we believe that we serve good quality Italian kitchen. Can you agree?
Yes, however, I'm not a big user of Italian, let's say, kitchen. I don't go to Italian restaurant to eat Italian.
Because you have it at home when you go back to...
I can do at home. I can cook. I like to cook a lot. I can eat Italian at home. And for sure, I like pizza. I like to eat pizza here in Katowice.
Any places that you could recommend?
I'm very happy with this, recent Napolitan pizza style. So Vera Napoli or this place in Warsaw, Olio. Also, some friends, Italian people, they opened a place in Piotrowice. Luigi Antonio, but now I don't remember the name of the place, so we will put in the comment, maybe. But yes, there are good places, good pizzas here in Katowice, and I'm happy to go there. I mean, I always take food in Angolo Italiano. I have my places,
Your
right?
places, the traditional ones.
I will not be able to tell you where to eat, I don't know, the best pasta.
So, if you go out to eat something, then which places you would choose, if not Italian?
We like a lot Indian, and now we have a place here close that just opened it, Thali House.
Okay.
And we have sushi, of course, we like, and also Thai.
So you are not a really traditional Italian man that only eats Italian?
No, not at all. And I have friends like this. I don't like this kind of approach. I'm very open. I like that would taste different cultures. And of course, the fact that I'm eating, for example, Thai, sushi, or Indian is because I was born in Sicily, where you don't have these places.
Yes.
I mean, in my town, you have a pizzeria and a restaurant, maybe. But I was not, I didn't grow with these kind of opportunities.
So the diversity here is like really big.
Yes, and sometimes it helps you to fill the gap of not traveling enough as you. I know you travel a lot, but I'm not traveling enough like we would with my wife as it was before children. So sometimes even going to this, ethnical place, it makes you feel in that country.
Yeah, but we're really glad that right now we have those places in Katowice, because maybe 10 years ago we would not have good sushi or Indian place.
Exactly. Yeah,
or even Italian Napolitan pizza one, because this is something that has changed in the last 5 years.
Yes. I mean, I remember 14 years ago, it was only Lenarte, right? And now you see how many. And also you can find Greek, you can find really a lot of things that I think it's, in Krakow it's obvious, but in Katowice it was not obvious. You're right.
Marco, did you ever regret moving to Poland?
No, never. I really think it was one of the best choices in my life.
And is there something that you still struggle with and you cannot get used to?
Weather.
Okay, so something that we cannot change, unfortunately.
Yes, this, even this April weather, right? This, that I need to, and me, I'm a bit more subject. The fact that I need to wear a scarf and hat and maybe even gloves in April. But it's not about regretting, it's about just being annoyed
Yes.
by that.
And did your routine, Italian routine, change after moving to Poland or after spending 15 years in Poland?
Yes.
And how?
Recently, I think I really completely changed my my routine, and it's maybe not connected with Poland, but is about Poland because, for example, we have this culture that in Italy we make breakfast, cornetto, and cappuccino, right? So the sweet breakfast,
Yes.
always. And me, I cannot have cornetto here. So for me, the breakfast was a challenge, and sometimes was this, sometimes was that. I never managed to have a static, and I like to have habits, breakfast. Recently, because of 2 years ago, maybe because of some diet, I completely, moved to the salty, suoni breakfast. So with eggs, with tomato, with chleb żytny, razowy na zakwarze, and I love it. So this is something since two years, I think. I'm completely into this routine of eating, this, I think, very Polish, even Easter breakfast every day, and I'm very happy. And also in Italy, we have dinner.
Oh yeah, it's late dinner.
8 p.m., not earlier. It can be 9 p.m. without problem. Like huge dinner. And then, in theory, you go to sleep a little bit later, but also sometimes you don't because you are tired, or at least me. So, you're going to bed with full belly. And here in Poland, basically, I'm often even skipping dinner or having a really light dinner at 6 or 7.
So something that we used to do.
Exactly. For you, it's obvious. It's normal.
Yeah, it's obvious.
For me, it was not. And I'm really happy, and I struggle when I'm back to Sicily, to Italy, to adjust to their reality.
Is it difficult to explain to your mother that you won't have dinner at 9 p.m.?
She's okay, she will accept it, but the problem is more with me to be able to not have the dinner when she's cooking and everybody's eating, and this is a lot of good things to eat. So even if you say, I will not eat tonight, you end up sitting on the table, eating, and for us it's I think this is another difference. I don't know, you tell me about your experience, but I see that, in Italy, the moment of dinner, lunch, all together, all sitting, you don't stand up if not everybody is done. So there are some rules. Here in Poland, it's much more, I think, flexible.
It is, but also it depends on family, because in my family, it was always really important to stay at the table, especially for obiad, so lunch, as we understand it, but because I know families where they never eat together, so I cannot understand that approach, but this is not the same way as you have it in Italy. Yeah. It's different.
In Italy, it will never happen.
Yes.
Here, I think it can happen, and there will be no big deal.
Yes, it depends on family and their habits, but it's completely different. Marco, it feels and it sounds like you are in a good place now, because you have your manager position in a good company, you have your big family, you have your foundation. Is there something that you wish for yourself? What goals do you have for future?
You're right. I'm very happy with what I have. It's never enough in the way that, you always think about new projects, new ideas. But definitely I wish a lot of health, because I need health for my family, for my people. I wish I could spend still a lot of time in Sicily, as I do, because also my company gives this opportunity to spend some time working from abroad. This is great, it's unique. So I'm very happy until the babies are still little. I can do that. So I wish, and I plan to spend a lot of time still, this flexible mode. And then you never know, right? But it's a good balance what we have now.
And skipping World Cup, which is a great event, but assuming that your foundation could have another goal, which goal this would be?
Employability. I think this is really, for me, it's the most important thing, because these people, these foreigners, are not here by mistake. I not even so much into these refugees. In Katowice, we don't have so many refugees. Okay, we have Ukrainian people, but I'm talking about really all these communities. Majority of them, they already work, they have a family, or they come here to study. And I know that it's a big deal to come from Zimbabwe, from Rwanda,
Yes.
and move to Katowice. And there are sacrifices behind it. So I would really like to do much more to help them finding a job. Now I know that also regulations are changing, so there are a lot of maybe a little bit stricter rules. That this is fine as long as there is a vision
Yes.
behind. But I do also career consultancy for in my free time. But for the community, I also try to do also a little bit more on voluntary basis. So I think this could be a target for our foundation, to also how to help people to find a job, or to get more fitting the future needs of job market, because it's very, very dynamic, right? With this AI, new specialization, they need to make an extra effort, because they may lack Polish, at least at the beginning. So it comes back to your first question. There is a need of an extra effort for foreigners.
Yes. And then information. Thank you, Marco. Really, I'm really happy that you accepted my invitation, and I wish you all the best, and I wish you never lose your superpower and your energy in doing what you do. And I'm really happy Katowice are home to people like you that found your future and your family here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything.
And we see you on the World Cup, right?
See you in the World Cup, 27th and 28th of June.